Thank you so much, Madam Chairwoman, and thank you to the witnesses that have joined us here today. I mean, this is a topic, as my colleague from Vermont just outlined, I mean, that has, really tackled families. I have staff members that have newborns that are, still struggling with supply. I'm a parent of a young son, 5 months old myself. I mean, while this hasn't affected our family, it's affected so many of our constituents. And that helpless feeling of a parent that doesn't know how they're going to be able to feed their child is one that, I think it's incumbent on this body to make sure it never happens again in this great country that we live in. Mr. Yanis, when was the FDA made aware of the Chronobacter outbreak at Abbott Sturgis plant?
Well, the very first report of a Chronobacter illness linked to that plant was September 20th.
Okay, of 21?
2021.
Mr. Yanis, is it true that soon after, in October of 21, the FDA received a whistleblower disclosure message regarding Abbott Nutrition's plant?
That is true.
Okay, now to your knowledge, when was the earliest date that you received the notice of the whistleblower disclosure?
I personally wasn't made aware of it until February 10th of the following year.
Okay. Now, Mr. Yanis, that's 4 months after it was initially reported. What did the FDA blame this delay on?
Several things. Initially, as you heard in the original congressional hearing, there was a lot of focus and discussion about mailrooms and that the mailrooms lost it. That whistleblower complaint was sent by FedEx, hard copies, to multiple individuals in multiple offices. So that means it would have been lost at multiple offices, at the White Oak campus, at the SIFSAN campus in College Park, also a field office located in the north. So allegedly it was lost in the mailroom. We do know that some individuals received copies by emails, and in hindsight, those should have been escalated to my office very rapidly. But those were some of the reasons that were reported. And then finally, in the report that the FDA put out, they said that we lacked the systems to actually detect these signals and escalate them.
So again, it's the decentralization of the FDA that may be an issue here. I mean, it's 2023. The White House has declared the pandemic is over. It's almost 2 years since the first infant formula shortage in our country is on the verge of perhaps another. In your opinion, how can this still be happening?
I think that we haven't taken enough urgent action. I think there's some things that we need to do. The long-term resiliency of the infant formula market isn't something that can be solved overnight. So we're going to have to be intentional, and I hope Congress will request it. I'm grateful that through the omnibus you've asked that there be a resiliency report conducted, analysis of the infant formula supply chain resilience, and reported back to Congress. That's a good step, and we have to look at what are the market incentives and what are the contracts that WIC uses. For example, I think WIC contracts actually contributed to this crisis, but WIC very might well be part of the solution to the crisis. And so, but there's more we can do on the prevention that we can do faster. The resiliency and market consolidation is going to take a little bit longer to resolve.
Okay. Now, I'm aware that our infant formula supply is not even back at full capacity yet. Now, why is that taking so long? I mean, is there not enough urgency delivered, through the court of public opinion to these companies to wake up and ramp this up?
One of the things we did, it's a great question, very rapidly, building on this data analytic platform that I've described that we call 21 Forward to monitor food supply chains, we started adding additional functionality very quickly to deal with the current crisis. And one of the things the FDA has today is really impressive that it didn't have before. We have manufacturers in this country of infant formula reporting production volumes to the FDA on a weekly basis, not required by law, but they're doing it. So FDA knows how much infant formula is being produced. We have good quantitative data on what is the national need to feed all infants in this country. So we know production and consumption. We're tracking sales data. We're tracking how much infant formula is on shelves and where it's located through in-stock improvement rates. And I can tell you that the call to action has been met. all the private sector companies that I've talked to have ramped up production. There has been what we call SKU consolidation. They've limited the types of products they produce so they can get more product out. So store shelves still will look scarce because there's less SKUs, stock keeping units available. There's less variety. But I think in short order, we should find ourselves in a very much better situation.
Thank you, Mr. Yanis. I yield back.